The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he
missed the complete. He's crazy
stuff.
stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield for 4. He slides through. He tags Richard.
Looking down from the blimp high above the St. Lawrence River and Notre Dame Island, below sits Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, which today plays host to Formula Neagle, sanctioned by the Absolute Beginners League, with all the Skip Barber open wheel excitement from the tires smoking off the starting grid to the victory donuts burnt in front of a cheering crowd, seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Today, the quest for the crown begins anew. 7 rounds make up the Season 9 schedule, and if what's ahead is even half as intense of what we saw last season, drivers and fans will not be disappointed, and my cardiologist will sleep better. But just in case, we've got the paddles charged and ready here in the booth, because much to my ticker doctor's dismay, each season the GSRC has covered Formula Neagle, the series skill level increased, the competition has toughened, and the pool of drivers with championship chances has deepened. This 15-minute Streamy Award-worthy pre-race show will count down to when the lights go off, starting the 70-minute timer until the checkered flag falls. So, bring cyberspace into your place. Pour yourself a tall, cold Elsinore beer, grab a plate of back bacon, and get ready for the opening round of simulated Skip Barber road course racing that will be streaming your way. Bonjour, everyone, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm your host, Bill Soupzon. Joining me in the booth this season will be Adam Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjad Yaman, and at his disposal will be the camera locations provided by the Ansel Adams of iRacing, Dougie Beard. GSRC's coverage of Formula Neagle is made possible thanks to the good folks at ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. Now, if you were with us for Season 8 finale, if you missed it, you saw there were 29 drivers taking the grid, but only 2 having a chance for the championship, that being Johan Halberg, who led the reigning champion Aero Num by only a single point going into the race. The racing was wheel to wheel for the entire 70 minutes. Battles were sprinkled throughout the field with the usual suspects in the lead draft. The championship came down to the final corner. On the final lap, Hallberg and Num went bouncing off each other like stock cars, with the Swede Hallberg crossing the finish line 44 100ths of a second ahead of the Roland Estonian to claim the crown. Now, Adam, it's been 2 seasons since Formula Neagle visited Montreal, when Num, Hallberg, and Ricardo Lard went 1, 2, 3. Since the series didn't come here last season, let's review what this place has in store.
Yeah, absolutely, Sue. Track length about 4.361 kilometers or 2.71 miles. It's a 13-turn facility, and while we'll be running laps much slower than this today, the record at this track is 1 minute and 13 seconds, .622, and that was by Rubens Barrichello. Set it in a Ferrari way back in 2004. I say way back, but hey, But the track's been around since 1978, of course, named after the late Formula One racer Gilles Villeneuve, and, one of the world premier circuits out there. This track's probably going to offer quite a bit of a mix between drafting and very tight cornering. Drivers are already talking about how slick things are going to be as well, and I think we're on our way to a pretty exciting race, in part because of the track and its long straights, but also very tight chicanes. So with that, let's go ahead and take a lap around the place with Joe Peak.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Montreal. Coming down to turn 1, you're always faced with, is this a passing zone or is it not? The sharp left and then switch back hairpin to the right makes it very viable to defend from the outside. So despite the heavy braking zone, you gotta work hard to really execute a successful overtake. From there, we accelerate away around this gentle bend along the St. Lawrence and set up for 3. This is a corner that will invite you to attack it, but get over aggressive and the wall to the outside is quick to punish the greedy. From there, 5 is typically a thread-the-needle type of corner, but in these lower-powered skippies, it's a much easier proposition. Just hold to the right to brake for 6. This is a deceptively tight corner, but the trickiest part is accelerating around 7. Once again, you're faced with a game of chicken with the barrier on the exit. Now we're taking another long stretch on the throttle, and once again across a gently curving straight. Hopefully you got away well, because if your competitor is close, he could be gunning for a pass. You'll brake at just about the 2 marker, and if you haven't had enough of chicanes, it's time for another one. This time, though, the curbs are pretty tall, so be wary of trying to cut them too far inside. By now, we're getting close to the other side of the island, and as we come around the bend, you'll see the trees and walls are going to make the infamous casino hairpin unsighted. This is the only real straightforward place to pass on the track. Even then, it's extremely easy to overshoot the corner, so if your opponent brakes early, all they have to do is pull an over-under on you. It'll still take skill and precision on the driver's part to make it happen. By now, we've hit the backstretch, and though this used to be a sinuous set of S's, it's since become this long blast to the final chicane to create our last chance to overtake. But the most well-known facet about these 2 turns is the wall of champions waiting at the exit. If world-class drivers have had to learn to respect it, you better make sure you don't simply dismiss it as nothing. Clobber both curbs, find the grip, and hit the gas pedal. But do not flirt too close to that wall, or your day will be over in a hurry. As long as you survive that, you finished a lap around Montreal.
Joe Peak doing a good job of narrating you around an orbit, around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve from the start-finish line all the way past the Wall of Champions. Now let's take a lap around what is the championship points from last season. Now, we mentioned the championship battle earlier in the countdown, so let's quickly look at the other drivers in the top 5 behind Hallberg and Num. 56 points back was Ricard Allard, who basically limped his way to that final podium as he was absent from the last handful of races. The first non-Busch thinker was 2B1 Racing Season 6 champ Tuan Tran. Tran's late charge bumped DBR's Rust driver David Burns into 5th spot. Now, let's go over and look at the team championship, because this series does offer 2 championships, the driver and the team. Now, the sting for Num's loss to Hallberg in the driver championship might have been soothed a little bit by winning the team championship for Busch Fink Racing Pink. Now, honestly, it was the late contribution from Num's teammate, Scott Brazier, that pushed Pink to the top. Busch Fink Green took second on the back of the solo effort by Hallberg. Hallberg does have a teammate, though, this time, in Neptune, going to race with him. DBR team talent Johan Vandeveld and Liam Quinn were 16 points from a podium. Finally, the yellow version of Busch Fink was manned by Allard and John Blixt. They filled out the top 5. So, Adam, we recapped the last race, and we talked about the track today. We reviewed the Drivers and Teams Championships, but we're not done. Let's give an overview of the series and then a specific look at some of the details of this race.
Yeah, Stupe, they got a sponsor this year. I love simracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created boxes. So, yeah, I'm going to have to see if they ship to Texas. Of course, we're in the 9th season of this Skip Barber League with the Skip Barber cars. Of course, you know, that's going to be a little bit on the drafty side for today. Schedule about 7 races. They're all road races. 4 of those races will be 45 minutes. 3 of the races, including this one today, will be 70 minutes, and there are no drops in this series. As far as the race for today and the rules and everything else, we are running open setups. Fuel is going to be about 65%. That's going to lead to a pretty small pit window, and everybody's going to have to make at least 1 stop. Qualifying is 3 laps, all by your lonesome out there, and that's what's undergoing right now. And of course, we'll have those standings for you here in just a few minutes. The start itself will be a standing start. There is no live flag marshal in this series. There is an incident cap of 24, and there are no fast repairs. And of course, the weather is dynamic in this series, and at least here in the qualifying session right now, we're looking at a track the air temperature is 68 degrees, track temperature at 97. The skies are clear, so the sun is beating down on the track, and the winds are out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour.
Yeah, and this series has been a testament for global warming around the world, because wherever they seem to race, the temperature is always extremely hot. At least that was the case for last season. Today it seems pretty good in here. These little skippies tend to get really slippery around when the heat gets going on, so hopefully they will appreciate a moderate track temperature. At least under 100 degrees is always nice. Now, one of the things to talk about is the track specifically. I'm not a big fan of this track when it comes to Formula One coming here. I just don't think it puts on very good racing, but I think it puts on great racing for these little underpowered open wheelers. Adam, where do you think some of the trouble spots would be, and where do you think some of the best passing zones are going to be?
Well, obvious trouble spot will be, the first turn, that entire first sequence of turns. I mean, you've seen some pretty exciting moments there in pretty much any series that comes to this track. Everything from Formula One to Xfinity, and a couple of the drivers were a little bit worried about the start of the race too as they head into turn one. Also, of course, you got to think about the last set of turns. The Wall of Champions sitting right there, and of course, Wall of Champions. Such name because it eats up champions. I mean, you probably can sign your name on there for as many times as I've hit it anyway. So that'll be an area to watch out for. And of course, passing, really you'll see it at almost any corner after a long straight. And you got a couple of decent length straights that will be keeping your eye with. These cars are so drafty here, and I think the times that I'm seeing on the leaderboard are close enough that they should be able to stay in touch with each other and probably put on a pretty good show.
I can hear the complaints coming in already. The tweets are already coming into GSRC about my opinion of Formula One here. I'm just not a big fan of street courses in general, and too many walls for my liking here. Now, that's funny, since I grew up in Long Beach. You'd think I would like, I mean, I have rode my bike to the Long Beach Grand Prix, but that's a nice thing to ride your bike to. I don't know if it puts on the best racing. I'm a fan of those open natural road courses that we see, not as much as we used to anymore. Let's talk about some of the teams that we have going on here. The regular players are back, but there's an interesting invasion from a German team. Let's see what it's Zoirland, and they have 4 teams. That Zoirland is, did a little research, that is Southern Land in German. So there's a whole contingent, 4 teams of them coming in, about 6 drivers heading that way. Yep. Oh, and we're not sure if they're doing this one. I believe they're doing this series as well, though, our director is saying. We'll be surprised. I might have that wrong. We will see. What I do know is we have 38 drivers in the field today, 35 have posted time. Let's call it 37. One did not transfer over from practice. 37 on the charts. My goodness, we talked about it, Adam. The trouble spots is turn 1, that whole sequence right off the bat. That'll be the trouble spot all the way through, but let's keep our fingers crossed as they can get all these cars through that first set of chicanes with such a large field.
Yeah, I mean, a ton of cars here today, and you know as well as I do here that you're only going to be able to fit so many cars through the end of that funnel. So that's going to be interesting. Who's going to go off there? A good start here is almost a requirement in order to get through there okay. So if you're up front, you're probably going to be okay, but the middle of the pack's probably going to be really exciting.
What about drafting here? Is this a kind of track where you can hang with the guy if he has a little bit of pace on you, but you can maybe tag onto him and let the draft pull you around?
I think the straights are long enough that yes, this is a pretty drafty car anyway, and especially with as even as these guys are just all the way around, that they should be able to stick with each other, I think, through the duration here, and the draft's going to play a large role in that.
One of my favorite spots on this track is pit entrance, and I've seen it happen a few times where you can sucker the guy next to you. What is interesting about pit entrance here is it's on the outside of the track, and it's actually right at a braking zone where if you're side by side with somebody and he might have the inside, he's going to have to brake earlier. You can actually run into the pits past your braking zone and kind of sucker the guy next to you to stay with you. We've seen it happen a few times. It happens right before that last chicane of the Wall of Champions. Now, keep in mind, there's only going to be 1 pit stop. They won't take tires because only a 70-minute race, it's not advantageous for them to take tires. So they'll come in. All right, what we're going to do now is go to the quick picks. Now, the controversy rages still at the Global Sim Racing campus on whether to rename this segment. So far, the traditionals are winning. So even though, Adam, will be replacing Joe Peak for the Formula Neagle. So far, the name remains unchanged, and the plan is to keep the same Peaks podium picks until Adam gets one right. Go ahead, Adam. Let's see if you can get your 3 podium picks for me right now.
Yeah, and Joe will have a chance to reclaim the crown in 2 of these races. I'm looking at Eero Num. He was smooth in practice. I think he's going to be able to get a good run here at the start, run away with it. I like Johan van der Belt. Not as smooth in practice. I think he'll end up falling behind in the middle part of the race. And Juan Tran, I think that'll be your top 3 today.
There you go. Let's call the grid 10 at a time here. On the pole, Johan van der Belt. Now, that's surprising to see him up there. Eero Num in second place. David Burns and Tuan Tran behind him. Third row, Johan Hallberg, Bastian Hausman behind him. Jonathan Blix and Ricard Allard make up row 4. Row 5, Vincent Bream and Pierce Cockey. Adam?
Yeah, row 6 today is going to belong to Joachim Langern, Mikael Engstrom in 12th. Row 7, Liam Quinn, Eric Lunkel on the outside of that. Wojciech Podazek inside of row 8. Outside of row 8, Luca Gusion. Richard Colum on the inside of row 9. Outside of row 9, Michael Halfson. Henrik Bergman running in the inside of row 10. Copper Collier on the outside of row 10.
Welcome to Formula Neagle, all those pronunciations. Frederick Neptune in the blackjack position. Mark Figueras in 22nd. Daniel Krugel and Edgar Sanchinelli behind him. Ronald Moons, Lauren Murray, Ralph Just, Darren Kuhn, M. Van Kampenhout, Kevin Mills, Michael Key, David Tejeda. You can all read with me. Richard Katz, Thomas Kick, Krieg Goodwin, Daniel Harris, and Jimmy Eifling round out the 37-car field. Okay, boys and girls, here we go. This is a 7-round series. There are no room for mistakes. There are no fast repairs. All the drivers need to have a good start to the season. The lights are up right now. You can hear the engine starting to harmonize. Keep an eye on your pole sitter there. That is Johan van der Belt. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn, and Johan van der Belt leads them into the first corner. Looks like everybody so far is getting through safely. About half the field has negotiated the first left-hander. Now they work on the right-hander. Very nicely done. Everybody making it through those first series of corners. Clean so far, Adam.
Yeah, the only problem I saw is Michael Halfson getting kind of stuck on the outside there. He lost a few spots, but they're that very, very clean for these guys to the first set of corners.
Your leader out in front is Johan van der Belt. We'll set the top 5 for you. Van der Belt, followed by Eero Num, Tuan Tran, David Burns in 4th, and then Johan Hallberg in 5th. Really a 6-car train. We'll take it all the way back to Bastian Hausman, running back there in 6th, but losing touch with the top 5.
Yeah, the leader's up front right now. You already see a little bit of moving around in the draft, trying to break it just a little bit. Johan van der Belt's kind of keeping a straight line, but behind him with Eero Num and Tuan Tran, they are just kind of dicing for position at times, but doing it smartly. They realize that they got a long 70 minutes to go here.
Eero Num protecting that inside as they work their way through the hairpin now. Tran up into 3rd. Burns and Hallberg following a 5-car train out in front. Let's go ahead and set the second 6 for it if they work through the wall of champion. Look back at 6th position right now. That Hausman being challenged on the inside by Jonas Blix.
Eero Num's making a move for the lead here as they head down the straight, as they head into the wall of champions. Eero Num takes the lead pretty cleanly from Johan van der Belt.
Van der Belt tucks him behind. Now Num is your season 7 champion. Van der Belt yet to claim a crown. He's followed by Tuan Tran. There's your season 6 champion there. Burns and Hallberg watching the whole thing, the reigning champion right now. Again, those 5 cars out in front. What we'll have to watch for, those are 5.
I think we just had a big incident in the back of the field. Hold on here just a second.
7 or 8, 9, 10 cars involved. Looks like it started with Richard Katz, who was really slow through the wall of champion. Katz got tagged in the back by the 56 machine of Richard Colomb. Then everything broke loose after that. Kick involved in it. Tejeda, Michael Key. Now there are no yellow flags, so we're going to keep racing. It's kind of Ben-Hur out here right now. A lot of cars are going to have their day ended back in the pack.
Yeah, it looked like Daniel Krieger ended up just getting a bad entry into the wall of champions. He stopped, stacked it up. Kevin Mills got into him. Richard Katz got into him, and it was just chaos from there.
About 5 or 6 cars, several of them were upside down. Now remember, if you're new to sim racing, it is simulated, so all those drivers are fine. They're sitting at home drinking their coffee right now. Meanwhile, out in front is still Aero Numb. We'll keep an eye on him as he's looking to pull away, but he's not able to do it. They negotiate that 5-car train through the hairpin, working now lap number 2. They'll be working lap number 3, but remember, none of the lap counts really matter. It's all about time. It's a 70-minute race right now. Keep an eye on 3rd place. That's Tuan Tran looking for a way to get around. We'll see if Vanderbilt protects the inside lane. No, he's going to leave it open. Let's see if Tran dips that 21 machine down inside. Decides better of it. Going to wait a little while. Burns back there watching the whole thing happen. Hallberg running in 5th spot.
Now, one thing we're going to see quite a bit, Soup, and it's almost kind of a common thing with these Skip Barber cars, and it depends on the track, but Montreal has some high curves, so don't be surprised to see some front wings a little bit tweaked, even though they've never actually made any kind of serious contact with anything. Just one of those things to keep an eye for. Is Euro Numb gets really loose out of that last chicane there just a second ago, almost ended up losing the lead, but he's able to hang on to it.
Oh, and there we have a car off into the wall. It got lost in turn 1. Let's see. He's able to pull it back in. It was Hausman. Hausman in that purple and black Mama Jean car. The 181 got loose into 1. You saw it just before we went to the lead. You watch going down the main straight before that was a pinata full of bees. That was an issue there. You can see the tight going on. There was a lot of battling going. There was another car off to the inside. Hausman goes to the outside. Everybody keeps it going. Hausman drops down into 21st position, though he was running about 8th before that incident.
I have to go back and look here, but I think Hausman, he ended up, I see his wing. Yeah, his wing ended up pretty tweaked and all that. That's going to affect his aero, especially in traffic, I think.
So let's go back and review now. Up on top, it's still that 5-car train. And what are the oh, getting loose. Tran gets loose a little bit up in the lead. We're thinking that he might have got tagged by Hallberg, who was running behind him. We'll get it on replay. Going through the hairpin. What do you see, Adam? Actually, I think, yeah, it was.
Yeah, with Nom all of a sudden isn't handling right, and he's really bunched up that pack, and then finally Tuan Tran, I don't know if there's actually any contact there. If there was, it was slight. If more of the rear end just breaking loose under braking there. Take a look at the rear of the car.
I misidentified. It was David Burns who was running in 4th. If there was
yeah,
contact,
he definitely got tagged.
Yeah, it was from the 125. You can see it on that great gearbox car. The Dougie Beard camera angle that Amjad used on that one. That was nice. So that was David Burns who was running in 4th. He's now dropped back into 5th. Hallberg took advantage of that accident. And it looks like Hallberg actually got around now Tran. Nope, still chasing Tran. Let's go ahead and set that. Let's look at the lead right now. It's Numb out in front being chased by Vanderbilt. Those guys have began to pull away a little bit. Hallberg's moved up to 3rd. Burns in 4th. Blix. Tran has dropped back to 6th position. I wonder if there's something wrong after that little bump.
It's very likely, and of course that incident really helped break up that pack of 5 that we had just trying to run away from the rest of the field. Now that all is broken up. So with Nom, I really don't think his car is handling the greatest right now. That actually gives him a little bit of breathing room here over the course of the next couple of laps. But Vanderbilt, I think, might just be kind of lagging off of him just a little bit. But I do think Vanderbilt's probably the faster car right now.
We lied on board with the Roland Estonian Aero Numb being followed by the fan belt Johan Vanderbilt, 2 veterans of the series. It's about a 1.3 second lead now back to Hallberg, the reigning champion, running in 3rd from Vanderbilt to Hallberg. And then trailing the Swede is David Burns. Here's another pass going into the hairpin again, and it looks like Quinn lost a position there for 12th as Lundgren gets around him for 11th. With things settling down now up front, we've talked about the top 5. Let's go ahead and run back the top 6 here for a second. It's Blixton 6th, then a pass being made for 7th position. Ricard Allard up into 7th, just got around Tron Tran, who's beginning to fall. I don't think his car likes what happened to him after he got tagged. He's back to 8th now. Vincent Bream running in 9th, running out your top 10, Pierce Cocky.
Yeah, right now 11th belongs, well, now pass for 10th and 11th. Liam Quinn taking over 10th. Joachim Lundgren dropping back to 11th. Mikhail in 12th. Luca Gusion in 13th. 14th belonging to Henrik Tobias Bergman. 15th belonging to Jocek Podacek. Sorry about that. 16th belonging to Frederick Nupton. 17th, Eric Lukol. I've been watching Eric Lukol a little bit. He's another car that I don't think is handling very well. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. 18th, Cooper Collier. 19th, Edgar Sancinelli. And 20th, Lorne Murray.
As we ride on, we look right there at Lorne Murray running out the top 20. You know what? Since things are settling down, Director, let's see if we can go a little farther back. We'll see if we can drop back a few more. How about 21st position? Here's a newcomer, M. Van Kamperhout. I like that one, Kampenhout. Here's a battle for 22nd. Ralph Just being challenged by Michael Haflendassen. Tran is in trouble, we hear from our director. Let's see if we can find it. Oh, my goodness. He put it... That's coming into the hairpin. Boy, the car just gets loose. Did he get the left sides on the grass under braking? Yeah, it was under braking. The car... We're going to be on board. Oh, let's watch the steering wheel, our director says. It looks straight right now from what I'm looking at. And he comes in under braking, and then, oh, he snaps it. Yeah, look at that. Something, yeah, we're thinking maybe a hardware issue. Well, he's got it back. Tron back up now, running still in 10th, although now he is being passed by Quinn, who gets 10th. Yeah, Tran is really strong. Now he's down to 12th. Car is just not handling well. Not sure if that's something that can be fixed in the pits.
I mean, it could be, too, that he wants to let these guys go, try to do some self-diagnosis, you know, not have traffic around him while he does it. So it might just be a smart move. But at the same time, steering wheel issues or not, his car just is, his entire race just hasn't gone well for him since that contact.
Let's go back up to the lead real quick, and let's look at what I really want to focus on is Johan Vanderbilt. He had about almost a 1.5 second lead over the reigning champion, Johan Hallberg. That shrunk right now. Hallberg's beginning to run him down, shrinking that gap like, closing the gap like David Lenderman's dentist, I like to say. Now it's under just about 1 second. I think Hallberg's going to get there pretty soon. And what Hallberg's doing is able to pull along David Burns. So pretty much the same 5-car battle that you had up there. The only one missing is Twan Tran.
We go a little further back. I'm watching a pretty good battle right now between Ricardo Alder running in 6th, Vincent Brem running in 7th, and Pierce Cocky running in 8th. These guys have been going at it.
Yeah, here goes Cocky.
3 wide.
Got to get that sorted out before they get to the chicane. And the guy on the outside is going to give way, and the guy on the inside is going to take 2 spots. Cocky gets 2 spots. Brame ends up in the same place he was when he started, and losing 2 spots was Ricard Allard.
Yeah, but coming out of that chicane there, the Wall Champions, Pierce Cocky was not able to get the power down as well. And now you're looking at Vincent Bram's going to have the preferred line here as they enter the first turn. Oh, almost gets his nose chopped and has to break loose a little bit to try to avoid the contact there. Loses quite a bit of time.
Cocky gave him just enough room for Brame to keep the line, but that's a lot of showing, a lot of confidence, a lot of trust that Brame was going to be able to keep that Skippy woed up, and they were able to get it negotiated through there. So now they work through the kind of the twisty section of the course here, back on the back half. Coming up to what I think is the hardest corner for me, this one right here, this left-hander. I have a hard time getting set up for it. Then you have the right-hander that sets you down this long straight into the second chicane.
I've trashed many an Xfinity car there. One of these days, my team's going to start taking those cars out of my paycheck.
They go beneath the underpass. Then they do the chicane. Now that sets up this long run down into the hairpin. And there's a pass on the inside. No, it was Allard looking for somewhere to go, not going to be able to get that done. So that battle stays as it is. As he's right on board with Allard right now, looking for a way around. That's a battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
And, one thing I've also been noticing is while these guys are racing, you got a pack back here for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and they're kind of gaining on them. And at the tail end of that pack, Juan Tran trying to make the best out of a bad situation.
There you see right now as we look at that great in-road camera buried in there as the cars goes by. I love those stationary shots. Now they come at you down the straight. You can see Tran making a move on the inside, still fighting. Tran, that's a battle for 11th. Getting on the inside of Mikkel Engstrom. He gets that job done. I think Tran's just trying to figure out what he's got underneath him, and now he's working on Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn. Great 4-car battle going on. This is for 9th. Lundgren out in front, Quinn, Tran, and Engstrom. One of the things you can count on in the absolute beginner sitters, of course, in Formula Neagle, is great battling throughout the field, and we try to cover it all when we can here on the GSRC. We stay on that 4-car battle, and we can stay on it for a minute. We don't need to go there, just to update you that the top 2 drivers, Num and Vandeveld, have decided to start working together, and now they've opened up about a 1.5-second lead to the guys chasing them, Hallberg and Burns. We continue to look at this battle back here, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Here they come at you. That's Quinn. Look at that great battle going on. Dive into the leading the field. That's Lundgren out in front. Quinn on the inside now.
Meanwhile, a little bit closer to the front here, real quick, Soup. Johan's losing 3rd place to David Burns.
Burns gets around Hallberg. Yeah, there's your defending champion now. Drops down to 4th. Burns chasing, probably not happy with the way they were losing ground to the 2 leaders. The gap is now up to 1.5 seconds. Num out in front. Vandeveld doing a great job. I don't know if he has the pace now, as Num's got the car. Seems like it's running on well. Vandeveld just hanging with them. Remember, there's a pit stop to make, and anything can happen when that happens. Battle for 3rd still. Burns with Hallberg taking a look. Remember, there is a team championship. David Burns, of course, races for, I can tell you who he races for. DBR Russ. So there's one of the favorites is the Bushfink racing team that come in many spectrums. DBR, I've done a little research. Damage Beyond Repair is what DBR stands for. And right now, Burns is being challenged by Johan Hallberg. That's a Bushfink car. It looks like he's going to get that job done, and Hallberg takes back 3rd spot.
And don't leave this battle, but real quick up front, Neuronam is still controlling the race. Vandeveld's running right behind him. I still think Vandeveld's a faster car, but he's just waiting patiently back there. Just to let everybody know what's going on up front.
Yeah, I think Vandeveld is just happy to stay on the coattails of Num until the pit stops, and then we'll see how it plays out. Let's jump ahead a little bit, Adam. Let's assume that it's going to be Num and Vandeveld when it comes down to the final lap. If you are going to make a last lap snipe for the lead, is there time to do it? Let's watch them right now. Let's see as they go through here the Wall of Champions. I wonder if there's time to do it after this or if they have to get it done before the chicane. We go through here. This is the little right-left. Then the start-finish line comes up pretty quick. I would think if you're going to make a move, you kind of got to get it done before you get to that final chicane, between there, the chicane, and the hairpin.
Yeah, the only time I've seen moves be able to happen probably after that's been, in full-bodied cars and in open-wheel cars. I really think you have to make that move before the Wall of Champions chicane. And of course, you have full body cars, you're able to beat and bang, and that's
Yeah.
part of the reason why you're able to do it then.
Will anybody watch this series? The final turn on the final lap last season, you saw a little beating and banging as the championship came down to the bus stop at Spa, where our reigning champion Johan Hallberg got the better of our leader right now, Aero Num. But that gap, Adam, which was down to about almost half a second when we started to look at it, has now really upped itself to 2.6 seconds. Those top two guys are beginning to pull away, making it a two-car race. Two-car battle up for first, two-car battle for third.
It's one of those ones that, and of course, a lot of that gap was widened while Hallberg and Burns were racing each other pretty tight. You just lose a lot of time if you're just going to sit there and battle a guy. And there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. And if you're running side by side through chicanes and stuff, you're going to lose that ton of time.
See that battle for third right there. Let's jump back, Director, if we could, back to sixth position. We haven't focused much on this. Pierce Cocky, always fast, horrible with fuel management. I'm sorry, Pierce, I just got to call it like it is. You have a tendency to run a great race for 99% of it, and then that last 1% you end up limping around on fumes or stopped. He's in a battle right now with Vincent Brame for sixth. Cocky out in front of the 32 machine, Brame behind him in the 25. I think everyone's just kind of racing now, just kind of putting in laps until the pit cycle, see where everything plays out. You can see on the tail end of that shot, running back there in 8th position, Ricard Allard. We are used to seeing Allard, who finished in 3rd place last season. We're used to seeing him run up much closer to the front. Either didn't have the practice time to put in or just doesn't like Montreal. And then behind Allard, well, my goodness, look who it is. It's Tuan Tran. He's managed to negotiate that purple and black Mama Jeans car around Liam Quinn, Mikael Engstrom, Joachim Lundgren. Remember, they were in a 5-car battle, and it looked like Tran was really hobbling. I think he's just figured out how to race what he's got up into 9th now. And let's go up front as we have Num has lost the lead. Vanderbilt got him on the inside going to the hairpin. The 18 machine out in front now. Oh, but Num's going to have none of that. Num wants to have that back. Says, I'll let you have it for about 15 seconds, but I'd like to stay on the leaderboard when we cross the start-finish line. So before they get to the Wall of Champion chicane there, they go through this final right and left-hander. Num back in front, and he's going to get credited with leading that lap. iRacing has a graph where they show you where you are, track position all the way through the entire race, and Num likes to keep that line straight if possible. Kind of the way my stock market report works.
Yeah, it's getting to that point of the race where it seems like everybody now except the two leaders are just kind of in a riding mode.
Now, with 48 minutes to go, it gets just about to the pit window here. And the first one in is Tuan Tran.
Like, I started looking for him on track, and all of a sudden I realized, oh, okay. Yeah, he decided to go ahead and come in. It looked like... watch his entry here in the Wall of Champions. Yeah, he decided the last possible second to come in here, too. I just think that maybe he had enough, but it still seems like it'd be just shy, possibly, of the pit window. He just put in chat, steering wheel issue.
That's too bad. He had really had it worked out. He's going to keep running with it, though. He brings it back out. Now, keep in mind, this series runs 65% fuel in these little skippies, no matter it's a 70-lap race or a 45-minute race. There are 3 70-minute races on the schedule, 4 45-minute races on the schedule. If it's a short 45-minute race, that means the pit window is really big. If it's a long 70-minute race, that means the pit window is really small. And honestly, 48 minutes to go is almost too early, as Adam was pointing out. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get home from here.
He's probably not. I mean, I think it was probably more important to try to salvage what he can, get off the track, fix whatever issue he had, and get back on. But he's definitely going to have to take another pit stop, I think.
And with only a 7-race schedule, it's hard to come back from a bad race. You really have to see lots of podiums. At least that's been the formulas to champions before. Podium, 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 and then wrap up with a podium. You got a good chance for the win. Numan and Vanderbilt still running 1-2 out in front.
Just watching these guys wheel these Skip Barber cars around here, man, they are all over the place. I don't know how they're hanging on to them lap after lap, but they sure are fun to watch.
What I have noticed, and I think, Adam, you called it, I think Vanderbilt does have a car that could give Num some issues. And what I think Vanderbilt may have also learned is I better not make that pass before the hairpin when it gets down to the end, because Arrow's going to be able to come back and get me after the hairpin. So I think Vanderbilt's just trying to figure out what he can do. Now, remember, they all start with the same amount of fuel, and in theory, they burn the same amount of fuel. But Num has been leading most of the way. Vanderbilt's been behind. What that means is he might have a little more fuel in the tank. They need to take a little less fuel and might be able to get the pass done in the pit lane.
I think the question becomes, have you saved enough to get like an extra lap or two over somebody?
Yeah.
And I think it might be right on the limit of something like that, but maybe not.
And as the come up, we are on the 45-minute mark. We have come to the halfway mark. None of the first 4 cars have come in. Let's see if Blix decides to do it. Nope, I'm watching to see who's going to pull off here first. Cocky's going to stay out. Bream's going to stay out. Everybody, all of our leaders staying out. Here's a pass going on. It's Quinn is going to get around. We've seen these guys before. Quinn gets around Ingstrom. Quinn moves up into 9th. And again, I was watching the pit entrance. Everybody stays out. We go all the way back to 12th position. Votek Podolzek. He stays out as well. They've crossed the halfway mark, so everybody can go the distance from here now. Oh, you know what? I apologize. I got to do my math better. It's a 70-minute race, so halfway is 35.
We'll forgive you this time.
I had a 90-minute in my brain there. So all what I just talked about makes absolutely no sense. And let me go back then and talk about the pit stop that Tran made. Absolutely no chance of him going the distance. I was thinking it was only a couple minutes before the halfway mark. Next time I get the math wrong, Director, you have my permission to actually come on the air and correct me on that one. That was I'm not putting money in the jar, but that was a rookie mistake there. One of the more talkative drivers is always Michael Hoffendos, and let's see what's going on with Michael. I hear him talking about something. If I can find him somewhere. Michael, where are you racing right now? Oh my goodness, that's what he was doing. He was giving some information to Jonas Blix, running in 5th and how to get around him. Blix gives a thank you. Michael Hoffendos comes back with a no problem. Hoffendossen has teamed up, I believe, with Lauren Murray. I can't remember who his new teammate is. I'll come back with that one later. See if I have it in my notes here. Hoffendossen racing for AM Racing. And we look at a battle for P9.
Yeah, these guys here for 9th, 10th, and 11th, Joachim, Liam, and Mikhail, they haven't slowed down since Tuan Tran was still up here racing with this group a little while ago. They keep swapping positions back and forth, very aggressive race, and I think they realize that these are the spots they're probably going to get, so they need to try to get at the front of their little pack.
And there's a battle for 13th that we've been seeing the whole race long. Just to follow up on my point, was Adam Olenson is the teammate for Hoff and Dawson. Olenson's not in this race right now. As we look at this battle, let's go ahead and give them a little bit of look. Here's a newcomer, Luca.
Ooh. Hold on. Real quick, Daniel Harris, I think you saw the leaders coming, pulled off, came to a complete stop, and then proceeded to start to go again as we had third and fourth coming through, and it's almost a very big incident with him and Johan Hallberg just a minute ago.
Yeah, as we just look at it, yeah, what he did was, my goodness, he overshot the, oh my gosh, yeah, as I watch it on my replay.
But one thing it did is it really kind of split up David Burns and Johan Hallberg here. And David Burns, I think, still in the draft, but it's going to be a little while before he gets back up to the rear wing of Johan Hallberg.
About 1.1 second. It'll be interesting now to see, because you never really know when they're close, when they're running in a two-car tandem. You really don't get an understanding of which car is faster. This will tell us. If Burns is able to run him back down, we'll know that Burns has something for Hallberg. Wouldn't be surprised if he's able to do it. Like Adam said, probably still close enough to be able to get a tow. Your two leaders still Num and Vandeveld. I think Vandeveld's happy to run in second place and save fuel. See if we can find another battle on screen to look for. We stay with our leaders right now. Not really much as we go through it. So once we've covered, let's see if we can go even. Let's go ahead back to 13th position. We really didn't get a chance to look at this one. This is a newcomer. Let's see if I can get his name right. I like the first name, Luca, and we'll go with Gusioni. I like Gusioni. I'll get it on the second time. There we go. Luca Gusioni. I sure hope he's from Italy. I don't think he is. He is from Italy. Okay.
The green, white, and red car was almost kind of a giveaway, too.
He's being chased by Henrik Tobias Bergman.
I've been watching him a little bit. A very smooth driver. You know, and of course, in these cars, being smooth is almost kind of half the battle. Very, very momentum-based, being underpowered.
And we're looking for Vandeveld is in the pits right now. We'll see did he make a mistake? There we see him. He's following. I'm watching he's following Num. And welcome to the Wall of Champions.
And then gets stuck in the wall.
Oh, that's a tough one, boy. It came out and bit him as we ride on board with the fan belt.
You know, that's something that sometimes happens too with simulated racing, is you end up catching the seam and the modeling for the wall, and you end up embedded in it. And it looks like that bit Johan Vandeveld today. I mean, that might have been a race-ending damage anyway, but it was for sure race-ending for him there.
And now we're looking here to see, we have maybe an issue with Lundgren. As the Stipler starts to pick up, Jochen Lundgren. Okay, we're going to find this one too. We're going to watch here with Jochen Lundgren. Our director has found it, and it's the same. The Wall of Champions is hungry.
Except the one difference between Johan Vandeveld and Joachim Lundgren here is going to be that as the back end snaps loose, Joachim was lucky enough, I guess, to end up in the tires. And is able to at least continue on at least halfway down the front straightaway again before pulling over.
Yeah, you can see Lundgren made the pass. Then you can see the car gets a little loose through the first part of the chicane. The rear end started to come around on it, I think, and then he wasn't able to get it straightened out in time. So, yeah, it is a long drive all the way around. Oh, he finally did take the tow. No fast repair, so there's another one going out. So all you guys who are back there racing, just trying to put in laps right now, there's a couple spots for you to make up. As the second place driver and then a driver inside the top 10 with Lundgren both out of the race, I would suspect. So what does that mean for the lead right now? Well, that means Errol Num, with all the nonsense that was going on behind him, has a comfortable 5-second lead as he tries to negotiate his way around the back marker right now of Cooper Collier. Oh, let's go ahead. We have the fan belt who we can bring in for an interview. Let's see if we can get Johan in right now to talk with us. Johan, do you have a copy?
I do, Bill. I do.
Oh my goodness, you are having a great race. Looks like you had something for Arrow, and then the Wall of Champions got you.
I practiced so much this week, Bill. And I almost crashed in the first 2 sectors, and basically never there, and now I screwed up. I got a little bit too much sideways and overcorrected, and then whoop, went full right in the wall.
When did you know you were in trouble? Was it the first chicane? You go, oh, I'm in trouble. Did you get? Is that where it was? The first right-hander, and then you couldn't get it back?
No, because I had this wiggle before, and I followed Aero for I don't know how long, and Aero had it all the time. But yeah, I couldn't catch this one. Shame it happens.
Yeah, it was. Well, let's talk about what your strategy were. Were you just sitting back there having a nice ride behind them?
Yeah.
Probably we're going to be able to, as Aero comes in now, as we get to the halfway mark. You probably been in a good position for a nice pit stop, saving fuel.
Yeah, I agree. I really wanted to save fuel and then maybe undercut Aero, because I think that I might have had some more single pace than he was showing when we were driving together. So it was my idea to, when he went in, come in 1 lap later and then maybe pass him that way. But ifs, buts, and maybes now.
As we talk right now, our leaders here, Num has come in, and our defending champion, Johan Hallberg, has come in as well. Well, sorry for the trouble that you had. You did have the lead there for about 30 seconds there. You had it going into the hairpin, and then Aero got you back out of the hairpin. But short season, going to be tough to come back from this one, but keep out there, and we'll see if you can work your way up the standings.
I'll sure do my best. See you soon, guys.
More entertaining guys to talk to. Johan Vanderbilt, he's a good guy and does a lot to get this series running. Okay, meanwhile, Adam, while we were talking to the fan belt, Num had come into pit and Hallberg has come into pit. Now, right now, Num is back in 6th spot, Hallberg in 7th, so those are the guys that are leading of all the cars who have pitted so far.
Yep, and this pit cycle is just going to continue on. Ricard Alder's coming out. You have Wojciech Podzek in right now. Luca Gusion, who we were talking a little about earlier, he's in right now. So, in fact, Luca is now starting to pull away. So, pit road, very active.
Let's go ahead and put the camera on David Burns. It is our obligation to at least show the guy who inherits the lead for a little while, and right now he is your leader. It'll be short-lived, but David out there racing. I'd like to tell you what team he's racing for right now, but I don't have DBR Rust. There we go. It's right there. It's on the screen, and here he comes. So is that going to give the lead back? I believe everyone has come into pit now. That should turn the lead back over, I think, to Errol Num. Maybe Liam Quinn has yet to pit, so maybe Liam is going to be the last guy out there.
I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in right here, and there he is.
Might get to lead a lap depending on where the pit stall is, if it's on the other side of the start-finish line. I don't think so, as here comes Errol Num.
You kind of got an idea there. I mean, it won't play too much of a role in this race, but just how you're able to take that pit entry there with Liam Quinn a second ago, about how you're just kind of able to drive it straight in while everybody else has to make that Wall of Champions chicane.
So Bream and Cocky also in right now. We'll see who gets out. The other big names, Engstrom and Quinn. Looks like Cocky is going to be first out. Looks like he's going to cycle out in 5th position. Bream in 6th. If they can get around Allard. Here comes Ricardo Allard. Allard, look at this. Allard comes out just side by side. If we can see that on the screen, side by side. Allard and Bream. Allard on the inside, Bream on the outside. Bream just coming out of the pit stop. Allard with the preferred position, going to get 6th on there. Bream gets 7th. Just ahead of them in the top 5 now as we look there at Allard. That nice battle. There's Pierce Cockey having a great run. Made it up to the top 5. Assuming Pierce has enough fuel to finish the race. Nice battle though for 3rd. Jonas Blixt in 3rd. We haven't heard much from him. And David Burns. Blixt made up a lot of ground in that pit stop. Burns back to 4th.
For friends and family, Greg Goodwin watching, he just looped it around. He's back on the track, though, no damage.
36 cars took the grid. 19 of them right now are still on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap, Darren Kuhn. And he's got quite a bit of time before the leader gets to him, so it's a possibility he might be able to finish on the lead lap. Arrow's a bit far behind. Make sure I have my timing scoring right. That could be incorrect. He's timing scoring shows him 2 minutes and 3 seconds behind. Is he still on the lead lap? He is.
Ooh, that was Jonas Blixt got really loose going through the wall of champions. At first I thought he might have overcorrected into the wall there. David Burns had to slow way up for him. Almost got in the back of him there.
Yeah, and that battle continues as we watch the replay. Burns has gotten around Blixt for 3rd. Uh-oh. Our leader has fallen back into the clutches of these guys. Let's see. That's what Hallberg, our 2nd place driver, who was running. Oh, he lost it. He lost it. It looks like, is that turn 1? Yeah, on the left-hander at turn 1, he did a little bit of a loop right in front of Richard Katz. Katz coming out of the pits, running in 35th position, just minding his own business. Next thing he knows, he sees the defending champion in front of him.
I think Richard was just coming back on the track after that incident in the first couple of laps of the race, and all of a sudden almost ended up in another one right off the bat.
Just minding his own business, and there's the defending champion, the reigning champion, looking right at you. So, what was interesting, though, is I believe that Hallberg able to hold his position, though, still running in 2nd, but now we got a 3-car battle. Hallberg, Burns, and Blixt. They work around. There's Katz right now involved in his own 3 guys gets around him.
I'm wondering if Katz is just out there to try to gain some of those positions from everybody that wrecked out earlier. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pull it back in here as they go around Daniel Harris.
Katz out there saying, I'm 19 laps down. I'm just trying to put in some. I got some guys ahead of me. I can pick up some spots, vulture them from attrition, and my goodness, he's a magnet for excitement. Michael Keys giving news about drivers, how to get around him. Okay, I think we got things settled down a little bit. Director, how about we run through the top 10 real quick? We can get that graphic up there. Your leader, the Roland Estonian, the Season 7 champion, Aero Num, out in front in a familiar position. Your defending and reigning champion, I guess that is the same thing, Johan Hallberg, running in 2nd spot, just ahead of David Burns and Jonas Blixt. Then you get back to 5th spot, Pierce Cockey. We talked about him working his way up into the top 5. Doing good, always worried that he's not going to be able to finish the race. Drop back to 6th position. A nice little battle going on here between Vincent Brame and Ricard Allard. Allard started 8th, up 1 spot into 7th. Mr. Excitement, Liam Quinn, working in 8th position in a fight with Mikkel Ingstrom. And then rounding out your top 10, here we go. It took me a while to get this one too, Adam, but I got it now. It's Wojtek Podolzak. Fun to say. I was lying in bed one night and my wife reached over and slapped me. What are you saying? I go, Wojtek Podolzak.
She had every right to slap you.
It was well worth the pain, because I've got his name down now.
Yeah, with Euro Numb, though, the rolling Estonian, I like that. very, very large lead. I mean, now getting up over 15 seconds over Johan Hallberg with kind of everything that's happened here the last couple of laps. Now only about 27 minutes in, so pretty much all Euro has to do is just keep doing what he's been doing. Just run smooth, just try to stay out of trouble. Of course, he's got some lap traffic that he'll be hitting over the course of the next couple of laps. Try to avoid those guys. But I think that the battle for second's getting ready to pick up between Johan Hallberg and David Burns. Burns right on the rear wing of Johan here.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this battle. The good news for Hallberg is they don't pay by interval size, so a 30-second win is no more points than a 3-second win. So Hallberg, you're running back there in second, and that's what you need to do if you're looking at a championship here. You just want to put in those good finishings. And right now he was able to. That little spin in pit lane there did not cost him much. Still in second. All he's got to do is hold off David Burns. All he's got to do, easier for me to say, is David Burns has a good car behind him. Under him. Burns has really shown that he is, through the last part of the last season, he had really picked up the pace, and we had big expectations for him in season 9, and I think that's going to prove true as he's battling right now with one of the fastest guys out there, Hallberg. And he has left Blix behind. Remember, that was a close battle, but Burns has pulled away now. Blix having a hard time staying with him.
And David Burns, if memory serves, UK and Ireland driver, he's one of those kind of drivers that you'll find him pretty much race anything and everything. I mean, he's multi-talented.
This series, don't be fooled by its title, The Absolute Beginners. It started off as a nice, friendly series. As we watch this battle now, here comes Burns. He's going to go on the inside, have the preferred position. I think he should be able to take care of this one. Hallberg will surrender this right now and live to fight another lap.
I don't think he got any damage out of it. Coming out of the last corner there before the back straight, I think Hallberg brushed the wall coming out of that tight right-hander. It was just very gentle. I don't think he got any damage at all.
So Burns moves up into second spot. What I was saying was this Absolute Beginners, it started as a nice friendly league, but what often happens when GSRC is involved and you've been around for 2 or 3 seasons having to broadcast, the talent comes in, and now it's still very friendly and probably one of the cleanest races, one of the cleanest series that we cover when you consider how competitive it is. But the talent level keeps growing, it keeps getting tougher. What is interesting, though, is it has not picked up many U.S. drivers, even though it's at a relatively good time slot for U.S. It's Saturday morning on the West Coast in the United States, Saturday afternoon. Still pretty much a European league.
Yeah, it's the counting here. I count only 5 American drivers registered in the series. One of those didn't take the start. Jimmy Eifling, which Jimmy, I think I've seen him in the server a couple. Oh, David Burns brushed the wall there a little bit. He's going to give Johan an advantage of taking a run here.
Side by side as they work into the final chicane. Oh no, they're going into the hairpin, and yeah, on the outside it's going to be Hallberg gets that done. Smokes the tires a little bit. It's going to leave the door open for David on the inside. Burns trying to get a drive off. Not going to get it done. Still plenty of time, though. Let's see if Hallberg takes that defensive line. Pretty much making the car pretty fat right now. And actually, let's see, is he going to drift it over? No, he's going to make David go on the outside. They go side by side. Want to get that sorted out before you get there. And Burns with the momentum on the outside going to get the job done as they go into the final chicane. There's the right-hander and the left-hander and the wall to the outside. Everybody negotiates it okay. Burns going to get second place one more time as they cross the start-finish line. 23 minutes to go.
Not that they have enough time to do anything at this rate, but they have gained about 0.7 of a second on Euro Num here over the last couple laps.
Of course, keep in mind when Euro came in and made the pit stops, he was still very competitive, so these drivers didn't take any more fuel than they need to, so that's always an issue. Tran has been involved in a big multi-car incident. Let's see, Tran lost it. Then he collected. Oh, you got Los, and then going on the outside there in the grass, that was Richard Colomb. Richard was running in 24th, I believe, at the time.
Look at it again. I'm wondering if a steering wheel issue popped up with the way that he just had to jump on the brakes.
Yeah, he's a much better driver than this. You can see him go in there.
Yeah, he even just put that he's going to go ahead and quit because of software problems.
Yeah.
There's that wheel snapping again, just like it did earlier.
The cut also involved in that was M. Van Kempenhout. We're going to look at Colum and see if he can get around here. Now he's going to see the issue right in front of him. My goodness, look at how thick that smoke is. Where do you go? That Mama Jean racing car painted black and purple should be easy to see, but that smoke was thick. So, with 21 laps, 21 minutes to go now, your leader is still Aero Gnome for Bushfink Racing Pink. His partner is not here today. That's Brigier, not here, so he's running out there all by himself. Second place, Johan Hallberg. And of course, Hallberg running for Bushfink Racing Green. In the multi-spectrum, that is Bushfink. David Burns running in third. I'll give you, our director maybe can tell me what team David Burns races for as we go ahead. There's a team championship. DVR Russ, there it is for the third time. It's not in my notes, so that's why I have to go there. I'll type it in a minute. My goal is to try to keep the teams a little more in my vocabulary for this season, as the team championship is almost as important, if not more so, than the drivers' championship. And we hear that Liam Quinn is having some... Oh, my goodness, he had the car off. He was coming up. He got right behind. I think he gave a little tap to Engstrom, running in 8th at the time. Quinn looped it around.
Just didn't have the braking zone there. I think Mikhail maybe even broke just a little bit more than he was thinking, and Liam got into the back of him and just almost had to ditch the car off to the side.
Yeah, Engstrom was coming up behind the back marker of Richard Katz. There probably gave a little more room, not knowing what Katz had in store.
And one thing to know, and I know Katz, he's come up a couple of times. He's not even the slowest car out there. I want to point that out. But he's gained 4 spots by coming back out on the track and trying to turn a few laps. And those 4 spots, could mean the difference between a position in the final standings or 2.
Oh yeah, don't misinterpret there for what I was talking to Richard Katz. You did nothing wrong. That was just the guy chasing you probably gave you a little more room than he needed to. Right now, Katz up into, like we said, now running in 32nd position. Let's drop in on P6 and look at Vincent Bream in this battle with Ricard Allard. Bream out in front in the 25 machine, Allard back there in the Lincoln for me in the 74 machine. Not blinking as far as connection problem, but his paint is blinking in and out on my machine. As you see, look at this line. I love those stationary shots where you can really get, even though these little open wheelers aren't the fastest cars out there, stationary cameras give you that impression of speed. Allard was notorious for podium finishes last time. Went podium the first part of last season. Not going to continue that way right now, and running back there in 7th. A lot of talk going on. Edgar Sancinelli coming back. I guess he was had a close incident there a minute ago. Is he talking with Cooper Collier?
Yeah, it was Cooper Collier and Edgar. They went side by side in the wall of champion chicane and just racing hard and no contact or anything. I just think they're talking about the pass that was just made.
Yeah. We're going to look at it right now. Cooper was talking about I had trouble seeing you.
Yeah, it sounded like Edgar had just maybe making some field of view adjustments. Maybe he did what I did a few weeks ago, went to triple monitors. I don't know, but he's just letting him know that, hey, good pass, man. Just so you know, I couldn't see you.
Michael Key off the track just in front of the leaders right now. Let's stay on Michael Key for a minute as the second and third place driver is going to be coming up on him. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go to Rolf, 17th position. Rolf just got tagged by Bastian Hausmann. Hausmann gives the spot back. I'm not even sure it was a spot where they're not even on the same lap, but he gives them the least.
But look at who this is all happening in front of. Johan Hallberg.
Right.
And David Burns and Jonas Blix right there as well.
Yeah, that's why I caught that. I was looking at Key, who has just gone off. So here goes Hallberg now, has negotiated around just, and now he's got nobody now in front of him. He's got that negotiated around. Let's go ahead and stay on this for a second because here comes the battle for third. Burns and Blixt. Got to give Johan Blixt some credit there. He is able to run down Burns. Sorry, Jonas Blixt. Now we'll watch this battle. They're going to be running up on the car running in 17th position. That's the first call. One lap down. That's Rolf Just. Blix now gets the pass on Burns. Burns not done though in that 125 machine. Gets a good run. Blix takes the car right down through the middle of the track. Burns is going to have to wait a bit as they work now in lap 50 with 15 minutes to go. Now they come up on the back bumper. Rolf Just going to pull over. Nice job. Actually lifts. He's going to try to let both cars by. Great job. Save a bear claw for him at the back Parker United meet. A nice job from Rolf. That's how you do it.
Fully expect this is going to be probably the battle to watch here as we go get a little bit closer to the end of the race. Now, really only 15 minutes left as we count down to 15 minutes exactly here.
Num with a 12-second lead over Hallberg. Num just on a Sunday drive. Blix running in third. The battle for this final podium spot is what we're looking at. Drop back a little bit farther. Let's see. Cocky running all by himself in fifth. Not really much of a battle there. Continuing to scroll back.
And just want to make note, Richard Katz was able to move himself back up to 31st position. He's back in the pits. I wonder if he just said, I've gotten all I'm going to get today, and I'm going to call it a day from here. We'll see.
I think I have my new favorite driver that I'm going to keep an eye on all season long. Looking for this battle now for P3 between Blix and Burns. Here it is again. Burns on the outside, Blixt on the inside, and they get it done. Can they stay off the wall? They do. And a great run. Blix actually starts to pull away a little bit, but I think Burns is just going to run him back down again. That's probably not the last time we're going to see that pass.
And I just caught my eye. I mentioned Greg Goodwin spinning it around a little while ago. He was coming out of the pits with quite a bit of nose damage, and so I went back and I'm going back and taking a look at it. For Greg Goodwin fans, it looks like he had a little bit of an incident, lost the back end, and ended up putting it into the wall. So he's coming back out with some pretty significant damage.
Now, if you want to talk team championships, I think Blix races for Busch Fink Yellow, if I have that right. I also think, if my memory serves me right, Ricard Allard is also Busch Fink Yellow. So there's the yellow team running now 3rd and 6th overall. That could put that team in the points lead. A lot of Busch Finks up front.
I'm beginning to think you just like saying the word Busch Fink.
Well, My dad used to call that hospice racing when you're racing with all the loved ones around you. Hospice racing. Errol Num, Bushfink. Johan Hallberg, Bushfink. Jonas Blixt, Bushfink. David Burns, you don't have to tell me. I got it. DBR Rust. And your 5th place driver, Pierce Cockey. If I can look at my notes. He's a privateer. Races to the beat of his own drum. Nobody telling him what to do. Looking at P3, here we go, Blixt and Burns. Oh my goodness. Now this is after the Wall of Champion. Here we go, that's Blixt right in the middle. Burns is going to be on the outside, as Blixt is going to have the preferred position as they go into one, but Burns now with a little bit of a nose ahead. But Blixt able to get that done. Yeah, it's hard to do that from the outside there, Adam.
That really is, and Blixt have a little trouble getting the power down coming out of the corner there, but Burns gives him enough room to get it gathered up and everything. But Burns just ran him back down. It looked like Blixt might go ahead and try to set the pace on him. Of course, he ran him down a few laps ago. Burns getting right back up to the back bumper. Excuse me, rear wing. Gotta remember, these cars don't have bumpers.
There you go. This is probably the best battle. We'll probably focus here as we get about to 11 minutes to go. We'll spend a lot of time looking at this battle right now between Blixt and Burns. One of the most competitive battles on the track, and certainly the one that is highest up in the standings. Everything else has settled down a little bit. Even the Allard and Graham battle that was for 6th position has spread out a little bit. Ingstrom all alone in 8th position as well. So really not much to look at in the top 10. Not typical for a Formula Neagle race. Usually these are battles all through the field. This is one of the more peaceful ones. And again, I'm going to blame Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I'm just not a big fan of this track. And here's a pass now. Look at this. He's going to make him do it on the outside. And we look for 3rd position. There goes with momentum. There goes the 125 machine of Burns, and he's going to get that done. Going into the chicane. No, not so fast.
Oh, he loses it.
He's able to keep it off the wall. Will he keep it on a track? Here comes Pierce Cockey. Cockey able to get around him. And in the wall, this is Jonas Blixt trying to get the car negotiated. There goes the 84 machine. Finally gets it going in the right direction. He's going to fall back to 7th position. Now what happens, he was on the inside here, and this was Blixt on the inside. Then he doesn't give up the spot. He fights back going through the chicane, but he has such a shallow angle in it, he catches the curve so much, the car just got squiggly on him.
Very, very lucky to not have slid that car all the way into the wall right there and be able to continue on. I mean, yeah, he lost some spots, but it could have been much worse.
Well, I kind of blame myself as I was just complimenting Bushfink Yellow on the great run that they were having. Blixt now drops down into 7th position. The good news is for Allard, the other Bushfink Yellow driver, he moves up one. So May 5th and 7th might still be enough to put that team on the top of the team charts when they do the math. But that's just one more battle now that has gone away. No battle for 1st, no battle for 2nd, no battle for 3rd. What was once a 12-second lead from Arrow Gnome back to Hallberg is now down to 9.5. There's only 8 minutes left to go. But again, remember, I'd love to add drama in here, try to find it wherever I can. Arrow Gnome, when he made his pit stop, he was still in a battle, a close battle for the lead. It is possible that he filled up with just the right amount, just the least amount of fuel he could to get to the end. Maybe he short-filled a little bit and he has to back it off, or he could just be minding the gap.
And some of that, I think, has been, trying to negotiate around lap traffic and stuff like that, taking it easy. I mean, there's no reason for him to force the issue really anywhere.
Let's go ahead and stay on our leader here a little bit, as we don't really have a battle to look at, so it'll give us a little time to give some credit to the driver. Last car on the lead lap right now, M. Van Kampenhout. And if you are M. Van Kampenhout, please send me an email with the instructions on how to pronounce your name. We look here at Aeronum, just taking his time finding a way to get around Kampenhout. They work through the hairpin. Kampenhout now just needs to keep the car straight with a little bit of a lift. All right, it's going to move to the inside. Not the way we like to do it. You really don't want to take a strange line. It makes it a little harder. Leaders would prefer the back motors keep a normal racing line and let us go, or let the leaders go around you. But nevertheless, Newman gets it done. And Kampenhout now becomes the lead car one lap down. Next up for Noom is Cooper Collier, although Collier has a pretty good lead right now, just going into turn one as we speak. And it's going to be a while. Here comes the leader right now into turn one. With 6 minutes to go, it'll be a hard job for Num to get up and put a lap there. We're going to drop back to a battle here, still with cars on the lead lap. It's battle for 11th position. Now that's Hendrik Tobias Bergman running in 12th, challenging Luca Guccione. Car number 76 out in front. Guccione in the kind of, I'm going to call it, at least on my screen, and I think on the director's screen as well, looks kind of a blue colored number 76. Here comes Bergman on the inside in the kind of yellow-green colored, citrus-colored car. That covers all my bases. Racing the number 48 machine. We hear Miguel Kingston. Go ahead.
Thomas Kick having a little bit of a moment right in front of David Burns just a second ago. I don't think David Burns lost too much time, but David Kick had to put it off into the grass to avoid anything.
I think we have it on replay now. I think, Director, we're going to be looking here at Thomas Katz. Oh, Thomas Kick, there we go. Yeah, no reason to give Katz any more attention than you already have.
Well, actually, Katz has made his way back out onto the track.
Oh, good for him. Every season I've won one guy that I have to root for, and it's now going to be Richard Katz. So, Richard, we hope to see you next race, round number 2. Bring it out here again. Let's go back up to this battle for 11th. As here comes Guccione on the outside as they go side by side. And no, he closes the door on Bergman. This is a battle for 11th spot. 4 minutes to go, just over 4 minutes now as we look at this great battle. Here he comes again. Bergman looking as they dive into the hairpin. Bergman locks it up. Guccione leaves some room. They go side by side through the hairpin. They're going to come out like Cialis bathtubs. No! It's going to be the drive. The momentum that the Italian driver has is able to hang on to 11th spot, but a great battle going on. Bergman trying to find a way around. Now he's got to run on him again as they come up into the chicane. Guccione leaves the inside open, but again, here's this shallow entrance. Oh, but he's able to get it done before they get there, and Bergman's able to actually not only make the pass, but then come over, drift to the left to get a good line into the chicane. They stay off the wall of champion, and that looks like that's going to settle down now as Hendrik Tobias Bergman moves up into 11th. Luca Guccione going to run in 12th. A little excitement. That was good. Our director's found another one. We're going to go to 15th position. These guys are a lap down, but let's go here. Oh, this is a great battle. Here we go. Ralph Just running in 15. That's Edgar Santinelli as they just go beneath the underpass right now. And then behind them, Lauren Murray. 3-car battle. Santinelli in the middle, chasing, just being chased. Watching the whole thing is Lauren Murray. With 2.5 minutes just over to go. They go down into the hairpin. Nothing happening there. Let's go ahead and look who's been just started in 27th position is up to 15th. That's 12 spots. Santinelli, 24th to 16th. That's 8, but still impressive. Lauren Murray, how about 26th to 17th? About 9 spots. So all those guys finishing better than they started. They all just kind of taking it easy there going into the chicane. Go ahead, Adam.
And a large part of that, avoiding trouble.
Yeah,
they had a couple of those big incidents that happened right in front of them early on in the race, and able to grab quite a few spots like that. But you know, accident avoidance in the beginning of one of these races, that's huge.
Those drivers ahead right now of Johan Vandebel, ahead of Bastian Wiesmann, ahead of Tuan Tran. All big-name drivers that have suffered problems. Joachim Lundgren. Just keep the car out there, pick up some spots. As we get to 1.5 minutes to go, Arrow Numb, now it's 8.3 seconds.
Yeah, because if Richard Kaz can keep his car out there, even though it was on its lid earlier, I think you can too.
We'll go back to this battle. We talked about the glass car on the lead lap, Cooper Collier. I think that Numb's probably going to be able to get to him now. Cooper not really in a battle with anybody. Should be able to give this spot up pretty easily. Well, actually, that's one way to do it, is come in and go through the pit lane. But I think that's probably going to cost Cooper some spots here, as we're going to see if Kampenhout's going to pick up a spot, moving up into 13th. But that's one of the things we talk about, where they try to calculate their fuel as closely as they can, as our leader now has crossed the start-finish line, working through corners 1 and 2 on the back half, going through this little chicane now, has taken the white flag.
Yeah, if I had to guess, I think Cooper missed the gas just a little bit, but I'm watching him here, and I think it happened so suddenly, I think he forgot to click off the tires.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, nothing like taking tires when there's only one lap to go.
Well, either way, you know, good finish for him. I mean, it could have been a good finish for him, finishing in the top half of the field here today, but and see how far he drops.
Now, let's see. We'll go back to that battle real quick. What were we looking at? 11th position there is still Bergman. Here's the battle. Bergman is in the battle with Guccione. They're still on the lead lap, so we'll be able to follow that one all the way around here after our leader comes across, which isn't going to be long, as he's working down the back straight now. Let's go ahead, give a little screen time to our leader, the Roland Estonian Errol Numb. Season 7 champion, then had the championship lost in Season 8. To Johan Hallberg, who's still 8 seconds back, but it's going to be a 1-2 finish for the last two champions. But Errol Numbs looks like he's going to be able to get that first win under his belt in round 1. He just has the final chicane to negotiate. Nothing but straightaway ahead now. Your winner, round number 1 in Formula Neagle, powered by the Absolute Beginners League, here at Montreal, is Errol Numb, the Roland Estonian. Richard Hallberg, Johan Hallberg, going to finish second. Everybody else should be able to get all the way through. Let's go ahead and not watch them cross the start-finish line. Let's go back to 11th spot. The last car's on the lead lap. Bergman being chased by Guccione. A lot of chatter coming over the mics right now. That's always annoying to the guys at the back half of the lap who are still racing. Right now, like Bergman and Guccione, they negotiate around the Mama Jean car of Bastian Wiesmann. They go through the hairpin now, just a little bit ways to go. Bergman out in front. Guccione looking for somewhere to go. Bergman trying to put that car right smack dab in the middle. Guccione in the 76 machine looking for somewhere to go. Bergman now eases the car to the inside. He's going to make which ways he's going to go. He's going to give Guccione the inside line. Guccione gets it done, but he's going to have a real shallow entrance. Guccione noses across in front of Bergman. Bergman fights back. Now they go side by side. Bergman locks it up. They go through the chicane. I think they're going to get it done. Nice racing. Guccione's going to finish in 11th. 12th spot goes to Henrik Tobias Bergman. Great racing. The last car's on the lead lap. Everybody has finished their lap now. What we're going to do is take a short break. Remember, you're watching the Global Sim Racing channel. This is the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle. We're going to take a short break. Be back in a few minutes to run down the entire standings, drivers' interviews, and close-up shot. Back in just a few. Adam Young and Bill Soupson here for the Global Sim Racing Channel, calling the action for the Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle. Round 1 of Season 9 here at Montreal, and it was a pretty good race. Not surprising to see the Roland Estonian Errol Num get the win, something he's done many times before. Well out in front by about just under 8 seconds over Johan Hallberg. But remember, the points are the same no matter the interval, so it's 1-2 for the two most recent champions. David Burns, a nice podium swap for him in third. Pierce Cockey and Ricard Allard round out the top 5. Vincent Bream and Jonas Blix go 6th and 7th. 8th, 9th, and 10th go to Mikkel Ingstrom, Wojciech Podolak, and Liam Quinn in the final spot on the top 10. Adam?
Yeah, starting for your second group, 11th through 20th. 11th, Luca Guccione. Good race, I believe. Super saying he's a newcomer. Very smooth race out of him. 12th, Henrik Tobias Bergman coming in with the 48 car. 13th, Van Kempenhout. We got to figure out exactly how to say that. Edgar Sentinelli bringing her home in 14th. 15th, Lauren Murray. 16th, Ralph Just. 17th, Cooper Collier. Unfortunately, had to make that last lap pit stop there. 18th, Darren Kuon. In 19th, Daniel Harris. And in 20th, Frederick Newton.
And a great job from excitement there between Guccione there and Bergman on a great battle in that very last lap. Gave us some exciting to watch there as the race finished up. Hitting blackjack, Craig Goodwin. Bastian Hausman in the 22nd position, followed by Tuan Tran. 24th goes to Mikkel Hoffendassen. I'm going to try that again because I can do it. Mikkel Hoffendassen. There we go. Thomas Kick in the quarter century mark. Ricard Colomb in 26th. 27th and 28th goes to Joachim Lundgren and Michael Key. Oh my goodness, way back in 29th, but he had a chance for the lead, and the win was Johan van der Bilt. We talked to him in the interview during the race. Tough. That's going to be a tough one to swallow. Ronald Moon, didn't get to mention his name, 22 laps down. My favorite driver of the series so far, Richard Katz. We want to see him back next week. Eric Lukel, another veteran of the series, 30 laps down. Mark Figueres and Kevin Mills, 33rd and 34th. Daniel Kruger, David DeHeda, 35th and 36th. And Jimmy Eifling did not take the track. Okay, let's go ahead and let Adam Young talk to our winner here today. Do we have Arrow in? Yes, the Roland Estonian. Let's go ahead and let Adam talk to our winner and our points leader right now. Adam, go ahead, talk to the former champion, Errol Num.
Yeah, Aeronome, hey, Roland Estonian had, great race today. Pretty much set the pace for the entire field all day long. How did that car feel to you?
Oh man, it was very, very slippery. It was very tough race.
Yeah, I saw you have to catch it a couple of times, sliding through some corners. Of course, the Skippy is a little bit of kind of a sliding car to begin with, and I imagine the track temperature near 100 degrees did not help out at all with that.
Oh yeah, there were so many close calls in the first 2 or 3 laps.
Well, beginning of a new season, of course, you had a lot of new faces out there. Any issues with lap traffic or anything else here for you today?
No, the lap traffic was very good.
Good deal. Euro, is there anything that you're planning on here for the next race? As far as strategy, anything you're thinking of so far?
Seems like I need more practice because everybody has catch up me.
Yeah. Arrow, this is Soup butting in here for a second. Yeah. Well, right behind you, you had a comfortable lead, but really second place pace the same, whether he's 8 seconds behind or 0.8 of a second behind. It's Hallberg again. Maybe you can try to get a little bit of distance so you don't have to try to do it on the last corner. I don't know if we ever talked to you about the last corner at Spa last year. That was one of the most exciting finishes to a championship we've ever seen on GSRC.
Well, it wasn't nice for me, but it was very good for Jan.
It made for good television. All right, Arrow, congratulations. Good luck to you in the rest of the season. 6 more races to go. Keep it going.
Thank you.
Arrow Num, your Season 7 champion and your race winner today. Let's go ahead now and see if we can talk to our second place driver. I'll take this one. Let's bring Buckles in here. It's Johan Hallberg. Buckles, I've been talking to Arrow. It pays the same whether you're 8 seconds back or 0.8 of a second back. It's still second place points. Not bad.
Thank you.
Well, you really you lost the draft early. There's that 5-car battle off early there, and that's something we've seen a lot in the Formula Neagle. You in there with Nom and Tran and Vanderbilt in there as well, and Burns. Then there's always the mistakes that breaks it up.
Yeah, my goal was to stay in the top 5, but then the accident happened, so I lost the draft to Eero and Yuan. But I kind of catch up at some point. I was only 0.88 seconds behind, but then I did a mistake in turn 1, so I lost a few seconds.
Yeah, when you enter pits, you're supposed to do it at the other end. Just did you get confused on that one?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
It was poor. I think his name is what's his name here? That was Michael, or it's Richard Katz coming out of the pits. All of a sudden, he looks up, and there you are, pointing right at him. But you didn't lose any spots. You got that thing turned around. Still got out in front of those guys.
Yeah, I was quite lucky there because he. Who was his name again?
It was Mike Richard Katz, Kaz, was coming out and did a good job. He had to stop, and you turned it around, and then still got out in front of the guys you were chasing. Who was chasing you? Yeah,
he scared me from the pits right there. See front of the car.
Yeah,
but I was lucky. I don't know what happened to Burns because he had a long pit stop, I guess.
Yeah, I think, and then he just didn't have the pace there for you. We lost a couple drivers. We lost Vanderbilt at the Wall of Champion. How was that chicane? Any scary moments there for you, or are you pretty well safe through that one?
No, it's always scary to go through, yeah. But I kind of like that chicane this time. It was the first corner I had problem with this time.
Yeah, with the series being only 7 races long and with no drop races, that's one of the things I love about this series. Every mistake counts, and you really almost have to be perfect for the next 6 races to even have a shot at the championship. One mistake, one bad finish, and boy, it's hard to catch.
Yeah, because Eero is very fast, so...
Well, congratulations, second place. You've been there before. Plenty of time to run them down. Good luck as the season progresses, and we'll see if we can go back-to-back for championships.
Yeah, see you guys.
All right. There he is, your defending champion and your second-place driver today, Johan Hallberg. Okay, we have our third-place driver now. Let's go ahead and let Adam talk to David Burns.
Yay. Hey, David, how are you? Man, that was a good run for you here this afternoon.
Oh man, that was tough. I personally hate that track, but I'm glad it's over.
Well, we're hearing a lot of complaints about just the Skippy is just kind of a naturally sliding car anyway. But I guess it was particularly hairy out there, particularly through the Wall of Champions chicane. How did that thing treat you today?
Surprisingly, after my last season's performances in this track, that one wasn't the problem. It was all the other corners.
Fair enough. What corner in particular was tough for you?
I think it was the second chicane. That one, I struggled a lot because I kept clipping the curb on the right, and it really unsettles the car.
I understand that. Well, you had a couple of tough battles throughout the day. You had to hold off several people, anywhere from Hallberg. You were pretty tight with him for a while. Did anything else, really kind of set you apart as far as how the day went for you?
Yeah, well, I was surprised at how well Hallberg's car held up because I counted how many times he hit that wall. I swear it's made of titanium because I clipped it once and got a squid wheel. The battles weren't too bad because Hallberg plays the longer game, so he backed off a lot. But the battle with Jonas Blixt was a little bit, oh well, you're not going to give me room, I'm not going to give you room. So I don't think it ended well for him, though. Yeah,
that's definitely how it looked. And I think Bill wants to get in here and ask you a question as well.
Hey, David, at the end of last season, we saw you really start to pick up the pace, and it seemed to carry over now. Here we are, the first race of season 9. You got yourself a podium. Honestly, I don't know if you can run with Num or Hallberg, but if one of those guys, if they make a mistake, you got a real chance of the championship this season.
Well, let's hope on it, but I'm pretty famous for making pretty big mistakes too, so don't hold your breath.
Well, man, it's good to see you. It was a great start to the season with the podium. That's the way you want to start it off. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
David Burns, always an entertaining interview and also an entertaining driver to watch on the track. He races clean, but he races hard, and that's the way we like it. Okay, that's going to wrap it up here for the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginners League. And, of course, we'd like to thank them for contracting with us and organizing with us to race, to bring you Formula Neagle. And we'll be here for the entire season. We'd also like to thank the sponsor, ilovesimracing.co.uk. I Love Sim Racing is a website where you can find quality-made sim racing button boxes custom made to your personal design, making your sim racing experience more realistic and fun. It helps you execute all those important in-race vehicle settings and pit stop changes, giving you the extra edge on the track. But, that's obviously clearly why I'm not a successful sim racer. I need one of these boxes. That's my problem. All at a very affordable and competitive price, working closely with you. It's their goal to create an exact button box layout that you're looking for, figuring out just what you want and what you don't want, resulting in a box just for you that nobody else has. Your button box will not only work on your PC, but on your PlayStation 4 platform as well. The PlayStation 4 platform as well. ilovesimracing.co.uk, the home for your personal created button boxes. I got to get myself one of those. Adam?
I'm definitely thinking about, hey, I've actually been looking for a button box here lately. Well, thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen now that we use on our broadcast. The original music you've heard on today's broadcast is thanks to Eric Elcombe and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Next up for the Formula Neagle series will be in about 2 weeks, September 18th for round 2 from Road Atlanta, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the action, including the return of Joe Peak.
Oh, that's always good to work with Joe. Maybe they can do better on Peak's podium picks as you missed here today. If you'd like to find out more
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, GSRC, you can find it at www.globalsimracingchannel.com. Don't forget the www. Along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts, we're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. Finally, on behalf of my mic make, Adam Young, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and to the family and friends of any sim racing broadcasters out there waiting to start the party until he arrives. Let me say, I'm on my way and I'll be there in 15 minutes. With that said, it's time for us to go have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.